There we go. All right. Nothing like having to click through all my stuff just to get it to work. I'm Eric, the Profit Architect. Welcome to Friday Night Podcast. Today I'm talking about finding ads that work versus your ads, as you may have seen in the image. And a lot of this comes down to I want to show you some examples of ads that work, some sort of templates that are out there in the wild. I want to go over ads that don't work. These can be professionally made, like commercials you might have seen, or ads that we'll look at, for example, on Facebook or the Facebook ads library. I'll also give you my feedback on what I think could have been done to improve them, both the large advertising type ads that you might have seen out there, whether it's image ads or commercials, and also review some ads that are actually done fairly well in what they could mean as well. And the whole goal of doing this podcast today is to give you a better idea of how easy it is to make a successful ad, but also the pitfalls you want to look out for when you are making your ads, so you don't end up like one of these bad ads we'll look at in a minute. And there's a lot to go over, and I'm using various articles of content that's out there to sort of make my point or enhance what you might be looking at if you were to go look for this online yourself, what you may come across, and sort of what to keep in mind, what to look for. So without further ado, I want to go into this article here, which talks about Facebook ad examples that they think are good. I'll highlight what I agree and what I don't agree. I'm not going to read the article. I'm just sort of going to go over the highlights. So let's see. This would be. Here we go. Okay. So this is an article done by Creatopy. I don't know. They say 20 captivating Facebook ad examples for maximum impact. So I kind of want to go through these. Like I said, this is the kind of stuff you'll find when you go out there, and I want to apply a little bit more of a critical eye to it, right? So the first one they say is, here's an image ad example, keep it simple. And they just show the product. And it's saying it works because it's clean and crisp, short and snappy, key selling point highlighted. Yes and no. Whenever you do something like e-commerce, it is worthwhile to show the product in a manner that makes it easy to understand what you're promoting. Additionally, with e-commerce, short copy works better. Hey, you interested in this? Check it out. So in those things, I agree. Where I don't agree is you can't really do this for everything, but it can work in some situations. Even in this, where it's like a minimalist wallet, there are probably better angles. A video demonstrating it would probably be better than just this image, because this image doesn't tell me a lot about the product. While I agree with the premise, I don't think they executed very well. Then they have, let's see, they have this play a little where it's like interactive game-like theme. So this is this infographic that have popped up. I don't think these work as effectively as people think they do. While it's not bad to get the attention, you really have to look at what the rest of your competitors are doing. For example, if all of your competitors are also doing infographics, you're not going to stand out. And it'll be better if you took the time to create something a little bit more meaningful. So while it's not a bad start, it's also something that realizes people are scrolling on their phone. This isn't eye catching. It's more like a blob of text, and they'll just scroll on past. I liked your brand values. If you've seen any of my other videos, brand values are more or less meaningless. I like the imagery of this ad because it's different and it's got a little what are they doing aspect to it. These sort of things here don't really tell me much or give me any reason to buy outside of like looking at it. I'm confused at what this is. So they have Facebook video ad examples, work with an influencer. Okay, duh, that wasn't hard. No sound, no problem. Most people are not watching your videos with sound, so you need to find a way to get their attention. Subtitles work. Script does not. So in this case, they're using like this cursive script that can actually be really hard for people to read. So I'd say skip that. Present the challenge. This is more like a means of showing something unexpected. So she taps a photo that's physical and it glows, and so they respond. That actually works fairly well because it's not what people are expecting, but it works because it's not what people are expecting. It doesn't mean that they're going to click on your ad. And there's cast a wide net. Yeah, you can just ignore that. These work, these carousel ads work when you're trying to show something off like this. I'm trying to show off the different uses or the different types of products. This works really well with e-commerce. Say you have like a piece of jewelry, you can show it in several different settings, including on its own or on different, types of people. A lot of this stuff is garbage. Showcase a complex offering. No. This is like highlighting your best work, maybe, but you'd have to, I would put testimonials along with the images, and I would use more than just one. Like I would save this whole album for your site, and instead I would have a series of couples with their remarks about their experience. That would work better. Create a teaser is kind of like a how it's made. You're better off doing a video than a carousel. See what I mean? Like there's some stuff here, but a lot of it's not that good. Create urgency is always something you should be doing anyway, so it's not like an ad on its own that you would ever do. This is product demonstration, which I always recommend. If your product does something unique or neat or cool, or you just want to show it off, product demonstration works. So how would you apply this if it was like a necklace? That's where unboxing videos come from. So you think of physical products that don't have interactivity, you would look at doing something that is like an unboxing. If you had a non-physical thing, like say you have a digital course or something, your version of an unboxing is taking them through the members area, for example, or showing them various courses inside the program. So it can work in multiple ways. All right. So you kind of saw these. Now, Digital Marketer has some similar. Theirs are a little bit better. So they're saying, hey, these are good examples. They have this Economist ad. The reason why this Economist ad would work, if I had to guess, is they have a 12-week free trial on here. It's a red ad, meaning it's going to pop on their timeline. So when you're scrolling, all of a sudden this red box shows up. A lot of people associate red with stop. So you're going to get more people to stop and look at it. Plus you're like, hey, 12 weeks free. It's a new year. We're also going to give you a journal. So if somebody likes something like The Economist or is interested in this, because that has a lot to do with it, this is fairly solid. This whole try Slack thing doesn't really work. The white's going to make it blend and bleed. If they tried a different color, if the background was bleed, meaning like I don't mean bleed, I mean like it'll blend into the text box here. See how it like sort of kind of doesn't pop out. So if they had made this table like a yellow, or the cascade of their colors, so this blue, green, yellow, red, if they splash that on the table to make it pop out more, that would work. The angles work, however, the angles are pointing the wrong way. So whenever you have direction, like people's eyes are gonna follow this track, and it's gonna follow it down to get started with Slack. You're better off having it follow them down to the button because you want them going there anyway. This top 3 reasons. Now, a couple of these ads pop up. I know this is a video ad, but these tend to work really well. And the reason for it is you're not necessarily trying to directly sell, even though you are. Instead, the top 3 reasons women love Fabletics, in this case, it's a testimonial, and it's also like and these are reasons why you'd love it too. So these kind of videos work well. You can easily steal something like that. This is a different way to present your offer, and I think it works really well. What would you do with a month of free workouts? So instead of saying, hey, 2-week free trial or 1 month free at our gym, they're rephrasing it, making you be like, what would you do with a month free of workouts, right? This kind of example can work many ways. How much money could you make with a 6-month trial to my program or whatever? I don't use money because you'll get booted off of Facebook. Then they have this. He's like, oh, this is a good example. It's Verizon. Not really. I'm not quite sure what happens in the video. But you have all these gobbledygook, and really all you're trying to do is, hey, get Disney Plus with your phone. So this isn't going to work to cold traffic, but it could work for somebody looking to upgrade or change plans, and they're like, oh, hey, I can get Disney Plus too. At this point in time, Disney Plus wasn't the heaping pile of garbage that it is now, so it probably works better. This is Procter & Gamble, like, these are all the things you can get with a coupon. Yeah, I mean, it's e-commerce. Like, get this stuff at a discount. That's fine. This, I don't think this is a really good one. You can just skip it. This isn't bad. This is like a product demonstration in the sense that most people, when they think of wrapping their truck or their vehicle for their job or their business, I should say, this is what they think of. If you look at most wrapping out there, it's either a sticker or it's like a big one side, but it doesn't really look very good. Whereas this looks really sleek. So this is a good way of showing off your ability to wrap a truck and make it look like authentic and not crappy, basically. This is just a discount ad. These work fine. Hey, 36% off of this, or this case, it's 36% of companies increase cloud data in 2020. Guess what? It doesn't make any sense to most people. Like, why am I going to click this for a white paper on this? Now, honestly, I'm not their target market. So if their target market would respond to this, good for them. But if they're trying to get cold traffic, this is gobbledygook. It's meaningless. This isn't too bad. This is like trying to find a way to stand out. So they say it's a mystery bag. Enter to win today. This will work because giveaways work really well. In this case, they have like a clever phrase, I have no shelf control, which if people really like books, they tend to be like, that's a clever phrase for people like reading books. I think it's clever. I like reading books. David's Tea. This is just, hey, this is the offer. Honestly, the blue and white's got to go. So many people use blue and white, and guess what? The platform is blue and white. Google Ads, I don't know why he thinks this is a good one, because it's not. Like, you're either interested in Google Ads or you're not. And if you're thinking about it, really all they're responding to is the $100 ad credit. If they made that bigger, this ad would probably get more clicks. Let's see. That's just more Google. This is what I was saying before, product demonstration in different aspects. So you have just the ring, and then you have the ring on somebody's hand. It's a different kind of ring. Ideally, you'd want to use the same kind of ring. That way you can show it in different environments. This is a waste. Nobody cares, right? Pacific Magazine's cut hosting costs by 16%. Who cares about Pacific Magazine? Now, if you have very high hosting costs, you might be kind of interested, but this is very specific. And most of you are looking for some way to get cold traffic ads for people who may or may not really know you in. This is fine if you're targeting businesses that have hosting costs that are very high and you're trying to cut them. Otherwise, it's Amazon. They're probably just throwing money at it, hoping it works. This isn't bad. This is like a Yeti thing, and I'm sure it's a guy in the middle of some freezing area and it opens up and it's super warm. That could work, especially if you put more story behind it. If you're like, after a 22-hour trek in below negative 32-degree temperatures, you know, he stops to take his first break, and the only thing he wants is something warm or whatever. And it's like he could open his pack and everything's frozen, and he pulls out his Yeti and then uncorks it and it's hot. That's a good way of demonstrating product. I don't know what actually happened there. This is kind of a waste. It could be waste. It's like product demonstration I was saying before. Hey, check out our thing. This is what we can do. This isn't bad. This is just, these are the things you're going to get. It doesn't have to be this crazy, but it'll get attention, especially if you have somebody who's wants like high quality meats. Like, this could stop them enough to go back. But the blue again, what's with the blue? People love blue. Blue and white. 3 teeth straightening myths. This is like the 3 things women love about Fabletics or whatever it was. Same sort of thing. These can be very powerful, especially if you're talking to somebody who's thinking about getting it but isn't sure, or is told they need it but they're like, it's a bunch of crap. I don't know what happens in this video. I hope it's better than what I'm looking at. All right, this is kind of weird because this is like for diapers, and it just says remember this. I'm not sure what else happens in the video. I see a little audio icon here, and they don't have the video up here to explain it. And it says it just talks about, let's see, throw in the air. What's going on really is that the child is playing a game many of us have played, then their copy immediately offers. So it doesn't even, like, I don't even know what it's this doesn't make any sense. It's gobbledygook. This is just what's in it. Anyway, you get the idea, right? Half of this is crap. So like most of the stuff you guys look at and you're like, oh, this will be great. It's not going to work right. So the other thing I want to show you is some ads that really don't work. So if I'm in the Facebook ads library here, and I'm looking for the term Facebook ads to look for people who have agencies or stuff like that who are trying to get you to buy their services. So you might see a lot of these ads just regularly on your timeline. Things like, hey, so here we go. Gym and studio owners, marketing your gym should be simple, right? Run some ads, follow blah, blah, blah. That's what agencies have sold you, but instead you get the same cookie cutter campaigns, blah, blah, blah. Right? And this is the same company, so it looks the same. So it's like gym owners, 50 new members in 90 days, guaranteed. So it's not a bad promise, but it's typical. It's like what you see, right? So it's more of the same. So now we have no luckily. So this is struggling to find new property management clients. So this is another one. And if you look, what I want you to notice is a lot of these ads start to blend together. And why do they blend together? Because these people or agencies don't really know what they're doing. So they're going to AI and they're using AI to build out their ad. And they all look the same and they don't even realize it. They're like, oh, this ad's great. It's like, really look at this ad. So we have the top, we have the 3 X's, middle part, bunch of check marks. Now let's go to the new people. Top, 3 X's, gobbledygook, bunch of check marks, right? Like, how many times are we going to see this? Like you'll start to pick it up, but this is a very AI generated type ad. Whenever I see that, I'm like, they put this in AI. That's what they did. So let's see, we have, it's not about generating leads. It's about staying top of mind. That's garbage. It's about generating leads. You're crazy. Let's see, e-commerce turnkey. We keep it simple. Meta ads for Shopify brands, guaranteed results. That's okay. It's better than nothing. Stop wasting money. This is similar to that, right? Here's the stop wasting money. You're spending money to drive traffic. Don't waste your budget. Here's a bunch of check marks. Here's a bunch of emojis. Go here. All right. Here we go. So there's the big the top of the part. Here's a bunch of emojis. Go here, right? Like it's very common. You start to see it pop up over and over again. So here we go. Here's this big growth, ad creatives. Hey, we've got this. Here's a bunch of check marks, gobbledygook, more reasons you should buy us. Go here. And this is interesting. Like this ad will not get you the clicks you think. So if you think about this, it says 162% growth year on year, heavy head social. And you have this woman, I don't know who she is, so I don't want to call her out, but she's not exactly like dressed like a professional you'd think in an agency to bring more leads in. So it's like, okay, so I feel like this is sending the wrong message for what you can do. And a lot of times the other side of it is like, hey, we only work with fashion brands. So this is where we're only working with fashion brands. Here's an example. This doesn't help. This isn't going to help sell your reason why people should sign up with you. It just doesn't. All right. So we have unlock your monetization with our complete growth package. Look at all these subscribers, look at all the ads. So now you're like, okay, Eric, I see all these ads, but they can't all be bad, right? Like they have to work in some way, shape, or form. Here we go. Here's another one, right? More check marks and gobbledygook. And I'm not saying they all use AI. I'm saying you start to see a pattern emerge. And it's like, okay, so these people aren't really writing ads based on them knowing anything. They're writing ads based on whatever the AI tells them to write. So, like I said, so you're saying, okay, Eric, I see all these ads, but they have to be working because all of them are running something similar to it. And this is a trick that I tell people. So if you want to find an ad that's working, go back a month. So if you go to filters, here you'll see that there's this date range. And it's like from whatever a billion years ago to today. And all I say is change today to last month, same day. So we're going back 30 days. Why are we going back 30 days? Because we're looking for active ads right now with a date that launched on or before February 21st, right? So they have to be running right now, but the earliest or the latest they could have started is February 21st. So if any of these guys have a successful ad, chances are they're going to run it for longer than a month. So now we look and we see, do we see these people here? And the answer is no, I don't. Matter of fact, I see Hometown Realty. Well, of course, it says ad school. Maybe it's in gobbledygook. This isn't even in English, and I'm in the United States, right? So they're not even targeting any. So this demographic is probably working. I don't know what language this is, but it's working because they've been running it for 30 days. But it's working for that demographic. Urgent care. Let's see. I specialize in helping businesses scale fast. His might be worth looking at. Why? Because he's still running his ad and it's been 30 days. And his ad does not look like it's an ad that was spit out by AI. Now, does that mean it's good? Maybe, maybe not. But what I do know is that he's still running an ad. Here's more of Andrew Mull. So like he's doing, like his is one that I'd probably look at and be like, what is he doing? We have Monster Agency, some more work with our performance marketing agency. This is kind of all over the place. I bet they're not paying attention. But they're sort of, they see how they're doing something similar. So we have Monster Agency. We have this little old school Nintendo game. I think this is Super Mario World 3, but I could be wrong. And you have this one, which is Super Punch Out. And these are supposedly two different companies. So why are they doing this? Well, because they know that the demographic of the people who are running these companies are like my age or slightly older. And this is part of their childhood. And it's a way to get them to stop and pay attention. Now, I'm not sure how effective it is, but like I said, they're still running it. Now, what will you see? What I don't see is any of those businesses that we were just looking at, right? I don't see a single one of them. Now, is there a chance that all of them started business on February 22nd? Yeah, it's possible. Or later, it's possible, but I highly doubt it. So that's a key indication of ads that don't work. So for example, if you wanted to know, now it's a little different if you're a local business, you have to go a little bit further. I would try like 4 months, 3 months, or 4 months. If somebody running the same ad for 3 months, it's probably working. That's because local business ads, they don't have to cost as much. But if you're going after something else, this is kind of the direction that I would go in as far as looking, right? Now, the other question I get asked a lot is, what button should I use? So like you have subscribe, download, get offer, blah, 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 blah. And I always say the same thing. Use learn more, right? Learn more is the button you want to use. And everyone says why. And I say the data proves learn more is the button you want to go with. So I pulled the data because no, I didn't pull it. These other people did this. Let me move myself out of the way. So this is like which button performed best on Facebook ads, right? So they go through this and they're like, hey, we've done all, let me move this to the other way. Hey, we've done all of this testing, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's get down to where it actually gives us the meat. So it says, which button have you used the most, right? Learn more is the one that most people use the most. That doesn't mean they don't use other ones. It's just the one they use the most. Then they have contact us. This is important. Then they have contact us, sign up, call now, download, shop now, blah, 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 blah. And the idea, and see which CTA button works best for you. So these are the ones they choose. And then these are the ones people are saying, hey, these are the ones that work the best for our campaigns. Learn more, then shop now, then download, then contact us. So the reason why this is important, I started here, is because it's very easy to be like, well, of course, learn more got clicked the most because it's the one that's used the most. And by that same rating, I'd say, okay, then why isn't contact us, sign up, and call now the next few? And instead, shop now is next, and then download, and then contact us, sign up, call now. So it doesn't matter what order or the intensity that they use the buttons. What matters is what people are responding to. And they're saying that, hey, when I use learn more, I get the most number of, like, it gets the best results. So then they look at, well, which button actually performs the best based on all the data that they got from all over the place. And they said, learn more. All right, this is them doing this. Let me get to the, let me get down here. Yeah, I went too far down. So they say the learn more CTA button outperforms the others. Just doesn't matter because like right before this, they're like, oh, here's it. Choose the CTA that's best fit for the action you want consumers to take. For instance, if you want them to download a free guide, choose download. If you want them to purchase a product, choose shop now. No. Choose learn more. Just don't bother with any of the other ones. Why? Because they even admit time and time again, we see that learn more outperforms others, even when we're asking someone to schedule a call or download a lead magnet. So why are you using any other button? There are other button choices that you could use if you could change the words, but because Facebook doesn't let you change the words, it only gives you a small subset. You only ever should be using learn more. That's it. I've looked at, you can look this data up. They've run this test every couple of years, not just them. HubSpot's done it, other people have done it. Every single test over time shows learn more is the button that people click on. So why is learn more the button that people click on? This goes into like marketing psychology, and I'll touch on it briefly. It is the least aggressive action. And what I mean by is not mean like you're going to get punched in the face if you click the button. That's ridiculous so far. You know, with virtual reality and stuff and haptic feedbacks. Well, anyway, what I mean is if you're asking somebody to do something, it is the easiest thing they can agree to do. If I click download, that means I'm committing to downloading this and I may not be ready to download it. If I click shop now, that means it's an indication I'm going to buy something, but I may not be ready to buy something. Same thing with schedule a call. Well, I don't really know if I want to schedule a call right now, so I'm not going to click it. But learn more doesn't have any of those feelings. So you end up getting people to click learn more often because they're more willing to learn more. That's sure, I'll learn more. I have no problem learning more. It's not committing me to downloading, scheduling a call, accepting an offer, going shopping, not doing any of that. It's just saying, yeah, I'd like some more information. And because it's the easiest path for them to say yes to, that's the button you should use. Stop trying to use other buttons. Stop trying to think other buttons work. The data's here year over year over year. Learn more gets clicked on the most regardless of what you have. Even if you're like, schedule your call by clicking the link below, and all of your text is about how if they click, they're going to get on the calendar, you still use learn more because that'll get them to come to your page if they're interested. In a lot of retargeting data, you need them to be interested. Okay. All right. So with that out of the way, I showed you a bunch of crap ads. I want to show you a series. I want to show you this really quick. So this is IKEA e-commerce net sales. I know it's e-commerce, but a lot of this is reflective of their business as well. So this is IKEA's data. Let me scroll down a little bit so you guys can see it over the last 10 years. And as you can see, they steadily went up, and then something happened in 2021 that caused them to drop. If you actually dig into the data, they reduced their prices to continue to get people to buy from them. And that's why you see a decrease in profit, but it's not necessarily a decrease in sales. They just went down in sales volume. It went down in purchase volume, but not sales volume. Now they're restructuring stuff. So the question is like, how can IKEA continue to perform this well over the course of 10 years? Well, that's because they have some really good ads. And these ads are stuff that you can actually adapt, not the garbage you saw that we went over, but you can adapt into your marketing. I found this post on LinkedIn. Let me move myself over again so you can see. And this is by, let me close this. This is by somebody put this together. I want to make sure I give him credit. This ad professor guy. He does a bunch of these, but this one I really liked. So he goes through his list, but we're going to ignore that because I don't know how good he is at actually determining whether he knows what he's talking about, why these work. But these are some IKEA ads. So you have this Balenciaga ad, you know, for $1,000, which is basically what a hoodie with a towel. And then you have IKEA's version, which almost looks identical, right? For $16. So it's poking fun at this whole like, hey, this $1,000 outfit, yeah, you can make it for 16. So it's a clever way of getting attention. Whether they've seen the Balenciaga ad or not doesn't matter, because obviously if you're shopping at IKEA, you're not looking at Balenciaga, and if you're looking at Balenciaga, you're probably not looking at IKEA. That's not the point. The point is if you're shopping at IKEA, they're poking fun at the very expensive towel. So let me go on. They have this float like a butterfly with the IKEA in the middle. This is cute. It's kind of clever. It doesn't work as well, but the idea is that, you know, it's a bed that you got from IKEA. It's not that bad. This one's not too bad. Tomorrow starts tonight, and it's like sleep pills. This is playing on the idea of like you have a hard time sleeping, but instead of it actually being, and it says supplement, so it's not a medication, but instead it says sleep naturally, supplements, focus, and memory. And what is it? They're pillows, right? It's like you get an IKEA pillow so you can sleep better at night. It's a clever way of doing the whole, hey, like, how do I get this, right? Then we have the spot the difference, right? Obviously be like, well, the room's cleaner, but it's not just that it's cleaner. It's that this IKEA furniture piece is here. I don't know how much this actually costs. I don't know if it's in whatever, but make space for life. So this is a clever way of showing So it's like a before and after. So most of the time people think of before and afters as weight loss or muscle gain. You can do before and afters with furniture. This is how you would do it, right? Very simple stuff. You could also do it before and after with like watches. You'd show like a wrist, and then the other one would have the watch on it. You could have spot the difference, right? It wouldn't be hard to replicate this, and it would stand out. Don't worry, you can afford it. When you have dogs that destroy furniture, you're always like, oh my god, that furniture costs so much money. So this is playing into the fact that no, it's not super expensive. It's not a $30 pillow or 45. It's a $15 whatever that's called, but we call them pillows. This is the Simpsons family room, right? So this is a throwback. So it's like, oh, it looks like the Simpsons couch, stuff like that. So that's all that is. Just trying to poke at some nostalgia. This one I really like, right? So this is talking to people who just found out they're pregnant. Right? So it says free for babies born 9 months from today. So it gets you thinking about the future. So you might be looking at furniture, like say you find out you're pregnant, and you're like, okay. And also, by the way, it says Happy Valentine's Day. So it's really, it's kind of clever with what they're playing on. Obviously, like it's Valentine's Day, something could happen. And if it does, this is free. What I really like about this ad, outside of the tongue-in-cheek nature of it, is the free for babies. So it's not saying free for you, it's saying free for the baby, which I think is kind of clever. And it says, IKEA is offering parents to be a free cot if your baby is born on November 14th, 2013. That's what the ad says. However, anybody who's had a kid knows that that first time is rough. And it's like what they're saying is, it's one cot per baby. So this is very important because like if you have twins, which I've had, it would be unfortunate if I could only get one, right? If this was going on. But if it was like, oh, I can get two because it's one per baby, that's very alleviating. Now it says proof of birth must be provided. They don't expect you, if you give birth that day or around that day, to come in and be like, look, we just came out of the hospital, or I just got back from the hospital, I want my baby cuts. Although there is a possibility that could happen. So what you have to pay attention to is the fine print, which people will. And it says, offer valid until 14/12/13. So they're actually giving people a whole month. They're giving people between November 14th and December 14th to redeem this. Even though it says if your baby is born on the 14th of November, there's actually some wiggle room there. It's not as fun if you were like, oh, this whole month, right? Because that's the point. And then it's, Happy Valentine's Day. See you in 9 months. Like I said, it's kind of tongue in cheek. They get it. They're like, but normally it's $100. Right? This is a good way of playing on the holiday without just being like, Happy Valentine's Day. Here's $10 off a crib, right? It's kind of like, yeah, we know what you're up to. So this is inflation made lack even more affordable. So lack is the name of whatever this is, right? And it's saying, hey, inflation is going up, but the cost isn't. So that means even though your money may be worth less, all it means is that you can now get this for less. The fact that it's called lack and they're talking about inflation is also a play on words. Happy Valentine's Day. I mean, you get it, right? I don't know how much more need to be explanatory about this, but this is how you do stuff like this without really offending too many people, although I'm sure there's somebody who's offended somewhere because, that's what people like to do. This is how you can do this, and people get what you're saying without you using people. And it says, let's see, it says, don't let furniture wear you out. Redecorate with up to 70% off. So, wow, okay. New sheets, bed sheets in light pink. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy day after Valentine's Day. You get what they're doing here? New sheets, ? Happy day after Valentine's Day. Like, these don't have to be brilliant. They're just kind of amusing. Fighting is inevitable. At least you can sit in a luxurious armchair while hiding behind a newspaper and nervously clearing your throat. Like, come on. These are amusing. It says fresh at IKEA, new summer collection now in store. New duvet cover and pillowcase. Oh, it's that's like a blanket. I didn't get that. Go figure. Because it's summer, so it makes it look like an ice cream cone. It says it needs space. I don't really get this one. That's kind of a like they're not all gonna be hits. Being on this ad may change your life. This is something they did where they was telling you if you were pregnant or not. So they've like built in the pee strip in there, and it's silly, but it's one of those things where it's like it makes it stand out. I don't know how many people actually peed on it, but if you did, you could find out if you were pregnant. See, this ad is also a pregnancy test. Pee on the marked area, and wait a moment, if you're expecting, you'll get a surprise right here in the ad. I'm willing to bet it was like a discount or something like that, where life happens. This is just, I don't know what this is. This, like, if it's an ad, sure. Oh, IKEA store. So IKEA furniture, you build it. This is like how to build the store, right? And you put the, it's cute. If you can read this headline, you can assemble this coffee table. I guess I can build the coffee table. Okay. That's, and then this is this guy's normal stuff. So that's an amusing those are amusing ads. Like, you can take stuff like this without being so literal or so in your face or so whatever, and still make it amusing by just playing off of people's experiences. It's not hard. So then we get into controversial ad campaigns. They're famously bad. These are a few years ago. Some of these are really bad because they miss the understanding. And some of there's only a couple that I want to cover here. And then I'll sort of get into what you could, some video ad examples you can look at, and then we'll wrap up. So obviously bad move, right? Real beauty campaign. You have, she takes her and all of a sudden she's a different woman. Like, no. It worked in Asian country, but that's about it. Procter & Gamble, they say this was a sexist ad. So this is Mother's Day. Get back to the job that really matters. And people got upset because they're like, oh, is the job that really matters is you're teaching girls how to clean. So it was bad imagery. If they had picked an image of her playing with her child and then maybe cleaning supplies on the counter or something like that, that would have been better than what it appears like is her training her how to clean. Very bad idea. Apparently this was also, they said it wasn't very well received because they're like, oh, one sexist ad after the other. But this actually isn't too bad. At least I don't think. So they came out with this follow-up, and it's like she sees, you know, this guy come in, and you can see it in here.
Sarah? Clean enough?
So this is just like he does something nice for her, and then she rewards him by saying, you know, right? You gotta love him when he cleans. So they're all upset because this is also sexist or something. I thought this was clever. I think it's a cute way of trying to clean up the, you know, teach your daughter how to be a homemaker ad. This one's just bad. I tried to figure out what the heck was going on. There's no excuse for this. They're idiots. Basically what I believe happened at taking a marketing mindset. So this was an ad by Bloomingdale's. This woman's looking off. This guy's looking at her and says, spike your best friend's eggnog when they're not looking. And they're like, oh my God, it's day rape. And also, and yeah, I mean, that's what it reads like. However, if you think about it from, like I said, from a marketer's perspective, you look at Bloomingdale's, they have a lot of products like jewelry and stuff that have the word spike in it. And they never clarified what this is. It could have been something like an engagement ring or something like that, because people have been known to put wedding engagement rings into drinks for women to find. And given the situation and the time of the holiday, it could have been that. I'm not making excuses for them. This is horribly executed. And of course, there's no indication. And they never came out and said what they were actually trying to do. So your guess is as good as mine. They're pushing date rape. Yeah, probably. Like, who knows? Or grape or whatever. Whatever is going to not get me banned from YouTube if I'm not already. So that was really bad. This is another one of those really bad ones. So this is the World Wildlife Federation, where it's like, hey, the tsunami killed 100 times more people than 9/11. And they have this image of all of these planes heading to the city. Like, really bad optics. Like, really, 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 really bad. that was just dumb. And it's like 7 years after it happened. Like it's bad. So don't do stuff like that. This was funny, right? So LifeLock's unethical ads. So this one is like, hey, I'm LifeLock, and my program is so amazing that here's my social security number, and with LifeLock, I am protected, guaranteed. On the surface, that's a smart way of presenting your offer. In reality, I would not have used that. Mostly because what ended up happening was hackers got in and stole his identity. They stole his identity so many times over the 4 years that they ended up getting sued by the FTC for unethical ads and false advertising, because what they said would work wasn't working because this guy's, ID got taken so many times. So yeah, really bad. Don't do that. Don't do anything that crazy. I'm not going to worry about Pepsi because Pepsi's stupid. And these people like to do controversial ads too. This is a really bad one, right? White is purity. Like, come on. It doesn't take much to figure out why this is a bad ad. This one's kind of like tongue in cheek, cheat on your girlfriend, not on your workout. So people were upset about this, obviously, but it's still kind of funny and it's amusing. It probably got them some attention, and I doubt it got them sales, but it got them attention. That's what you have to be careful of. I'm not going to worry about those. All right. So those are those. These are some older ones that are just like, here's the white is purity. There's that one again we already looked at. There's a LifeLock one. This one is an old one. They had the babies wrapped into cellophane. Like, you see so many good things. Yeah, don't wrap your baby in plastic. I know they're not real babies. They're like imagery, but seriously, don't do it. This one I actually had to look up. This is a Heineken. There's nobody in the ad. It's just Heineken. It says sometimes lighter is better. Like a lighter beer is better. Okay. But apparently this came out during like huge race wars. So they're like, hey, it's noticeably racist. I mean, if you're looking for racist stuff, that, okay, yeah, it reads racist, but I mean, it says light on the bottle. Like it's a light, they call them light beers, but I'm not of that mindset, so I don't know. There's the Dove ad again. So these are the same ads. People are like, yeah, don't do this stuff. All right. I want to show you some ads that are actually really good. All right, so I'm gonna show you the ad, and then I'll discuss why this is a really good ad.
When are you gonna get out of here?
In a while. I gotta get back.
I love you, Mama!
I love you too, baby!
All right, this is a better example of the Mr. Clean ad that we saw, right? It's like, spend less time, spend more time doing the stuff you love. This is excellent because it sets up, it makes you think it's something different. And the reason why I say this works really well is because this is a video ad you can make for your product. There's no high production, no crazy nothing. It's just two people in a bathtub, right? And like a silly idea of how long it takes to clean something and how their daughter misses them. So absolutely brilliant. There's these ads that you probably have seen.
Hello, ladies. Look at your man. Now back to me. Now back at your man. Now back to me. Sadly, he isn't me. But if he stopped using lady-scented body wash and switched to Old Spice, he could smell like he's me.
Smell like you could smell like he's me. What I find amusing about this, and most people don't know, is maybe not most people. Most products that are purchased, especially e-commerce or commerce-based products, are actually purchased by women. So it's not always the guy going to the store buying the stuff for the house. So that's why this ad, even though it is Old Spice for men in the bathroom, it's talking to the woman.
Look down. Back up. Where are you? You're on a boat with the man your man could smell like. What's in your hand? Back at me. I have it. It's an oyster with 2 tickets to that thing you love. Look again. The tickets are now diamond. Anything is possible when your man smells like Old Spice and not a lady. I'm on a horse.
So it's kind of a clever way. This was, Old Spice had a bunch of good ads before, but they kind of didn't know where they were, and they started making a bunch of these. Then they went a little crazy over the top. I think that's fine. but it's talking to the demographic that they probably, based on their data, know who's actually buying the products and giving them a reason to buy this. Right? Guys don't care. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care. That's why he's like, don't make your man smell like a lady. Because guys don't care. We're like, whatever, I just need to get myself clean. So they do that. But this is like, hey, you know, she notices. All right. This one's not too bad. This is Netflix. It's a little bit long, so I'm just going to kind of cut through it.
Here you are. The beginning. Your first step into the
Now, anybody who's watched a bit of Netflix knows that line, but it's also like on Facebook too. Not Facebook, YouTube, which I think is kind of amusing.
unknown. Maybe you don't know what it's like to be the most powerful person in the room. Lead a team. Whoa. Learn for a crime you didn't commit.
So what it does for the most part is it talks about all the different angles of shows that they have on there. The reason why I believe this works really well is because of the fact that you can actually target a large group of people with this. You get them interested in the little stuff. They might be like, well, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Oh, they have those kind of shows. Oh, they have those kind of shows. And they're using the iconic Netflix symbol. This is another one. This was one by Budweiser. Sorry. This one's fairly good too, because they take most of the time they're like, this is about drunk driving. Like never, drink alcohol and drive drunk. And it's about how most of those ads are kind of crappy. They're just like, oh, they show somebody who gets arrested, and it's kind of sad and depressing. But it is something that you have to pay attention to, and they almost have to put out ads like this. But they found an amusing way to do it.
Yo, Cedric!
I'm the designated driver.
I can't hear you!
Make the body ride.
So because he's popular, people are looking at what he's doing, right? So it starts with a couple people. They're like, hey, what's this guy doing? They think it's some new dance move, so they all start doing it.
Make the body ride. Make the body ride. Make the body ride. Make the body ride.
Right? It's a silly way to do the ad, but it works. And the whole like everybody's doing it because everybody's copying each other. So that's a good way. Please drink responsibly. It's not a bad idea. Now, these last two, then we'll show you for video ads. One's a very simple way to do it that I remember because it was always on and I always thought it was ridiculous when I was younger. And this is the whole, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? So it's a really old one, but it used to come on at 10 p.m. and it would alert the parents that they had kids. Do you know where they are?
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
No. Like, no. If you don't, you got problems. So now we come up to this ad, which was recently shown to me by a missus. And this is essentially the same version of that, but because, we now have products for it, it's a product-based version of it. And this is a really good way to do this. Same sort of, it's 10 p.m. Do you know where your kids are?
He's still not picking up.
So obviously it's late. They're in bed. It's dark out. So it's 10 p.m., right? They're calling. He's not answering.
Look, this is the last time this kid breaks curfew. Excuse me, looking for my son. He's a teenager. Floppy hair, skinny kid.
No, sorry.
Where is this kid?
So now the question is like, where is he going? He's probably going to all the locations he's used to seeing his son go to. The snack shop. That's why it said snack behind the guy. Stuff like that.
Excuse me. Hi, I'm looking for a teenage boy.
Like underage?
Yes, 15. Slim build.
Out of the car, sicko!
Isn't this your dad?
Family proof your family. With Life 360.
Right, so that's...
Hi,
right?
I'm looking for a teenage boy.
The payoff on this is so much better. Because the payoff on this is like, he's just looking for his kid, right? And he sees what he believes are a couple of young women out on the corner, and he knows maybe his kid walks around this area. So he's like, hey, have you seen this? I'm looking for a kid. And when she says underage, the sign of relief comes over because he believes she's found him or seen him. And he's like, yeah, this is what he looks like, not realizing that now he's going to jail. And of course, it's all a misunderstanding, but it's, it's silly fun. So this is a means. It's like, so why do I show you this ad? Because this ad is a version of demonstrating a product without being so straightforward. It's almost like, here's what could happen if you didn't have my product. So it's showing the negative side effects. It's literally what the whole ad is. It's like, this could happen to you. You're going to be looking around. You're going to be upset, asking random people, and even could get arrested. Now, most people don't really think they're going to get arrested, but by pushing the boundary like that, it makes it a little bit more memorable. So maybe you have an ad or you have a product, if you're a local business or whatever. Is there something you could do where it's like, if they don't get this, what happens, right? Just subvert their expectations or push the boundaries of the negativity, because you need to stand out. So, to recap everything, we sort of went over a bunch of ad stuff that's out there and why most of it is crap and garbage. If you want to stand out, use like bright colors that aren't the platform colors. So I realize you might not be on Instagram. So, you might not be on Facebook, you might be on another platform. Just pick colors that aren't that. Talk about what the offer is, product demonstration, be very clear with what it is you're showing them. If you're going to do videos, that's fine, do videos, but try to go a little bit beyond what they're thinking, or like I said, as in the example last one, beyond that. Don't go controversial just for the hell of it. As you saw, there was a bunch of ads that they didn't take a second to really look at it and determine if it was a good idea or not. And the internet is forever. So keep those things in mind. And if you ever decide you want a little bit more help, feel free to reach out to me. Let me know. But thanks for joining me on tonight's live podcast, and I will talk to you guys later. And this is Eric, the Profit Architect, and I'll see you guys on Sunday.